In this video, I'm going to go over my most recent real estate deal. I'm going to go over how I overspent on this property, what I plan to do with it, and how much money I hope to make on it. I want to document and share my journey as I develop myself financially and personally, and hopefully inspire some of you in the process as well. Thank you for watching. Let's get into it. This is the home that I bought. This is what it looked like before I renovated it. So I bought it in this current condition. This was a foreclosure house, so the bank pretty much took it back from the owners because they were unable to make payments. Yeah, so they tarped the pool. It was green on the bottom. There's a bunch of dirt and debris in there, so I had to clean out all the liners, and there's a couple of issues with the pool itself. Otherwise, everything else seemed pretty decent. On the exterior side, this was the door on the interior. These were all the old floors that I ended up kind of tearing out and replacing, as well as fan, and then there was some paint. It looked like the old owners started to do renovations and then they stopped. Yeah, so this was what the old condition of the home looked like. These were all the cabinets, all the old cabinets, the old fridge, a lot of the stuff that we actually ended up renovating to get it in better condition. This is the garage that they converted into a bedroom. And then these are the bedrooms, some of the bedrooms. As you can see, they already took off the carpet. This is like carpet glue, so all the flooring was removed already, and some of it was removed. And yeah, this was the condition of the home that I bought. All right, so today is December 1st, 2024. It's been about almost 6 months since my last, I wouldn't say update about the house, but it's been 6 months since I bought the house, and this is my most recent update on where the situation is currently. I looked over some of the expenses today, and we went a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a lot of bit, over budget in terms of the renovation with labor and materials. As you can see here, this is not the cleanest, but all the numbers are, I want to say, like 98% accurate. Obviously, there's probably little things here and there that I missed, but overall, since May, I've started preparing for it. These are all the items that I have spent money on in the past 6 months, everything up to pretty much November. It's separated by labor, material, furniture, other, like that's for the house, and other that's not really for the flip, but might be for the house. So just to kind of catch up, the original plan was to flip this house. We were going to buy it and then sell it for a profit. Ideally, this was our, worst realistic and best case scenario. Realistic case, we were hoping to, sell it and make about $37,000 in profit. That actually didn't end up happening. I decided that I wanted to keep this house, so we ended up kind of changing strategies, and I am most likely going to do a a refinance, cash out refinance maybe, or just regular refinance depending on what the numbers look like. But reviewing over all the numbers, as you can see here, realistic case, total renovation wanted to be $41,000 for a flip. We ended up spending quite a bit over it. We're in total about $85,000. Obviously not all of that is for like the flipping portion of it, like the rehab. A lot of it actually is kind of spread out. I want to say majority of, for the flip, it's about $63,000, which is still a lot more than the initial $41,000, about $22,000 more, almost 50% more. But I learned a lot from it. Hopefully next one goes a little better. Talked to a couple contractors, mainly use one, but definitely going to be using a couple other contractors. Have connected to a couple people, found out one person that I can't trust. So these are kind of just the things that you find out with business and real estate. And everything's a learning process. And although we overspent, I think this is going to be a pretty good property as a rental, and I'll explain that more. All right, so let's go into the details of how the flip project went and what we spent basically most of the money on. So basically, most of the renovation was here. It was my contractor friend. He did the majority of the renovations, and this is more or less how much it cost. There were some materials that I had to get, like paint, that he didn't provide. This one was the pool liner. So it was about $9,000 for the pool line, and we spent about 10K for roofing. This one was actually not needed technically. The roof was about 14 years old, but because we decided that we wanted to keep the property, insurance was going to be $3,000 a year if we wanted to keep the same roof. If we replaced our roof, that new amount would have been about $900 is how much the new insurance would have been. And the exit plan for this one would be a short-term rental, so like an Airbnb. And I was not getting any good quotes for a short-term rental insurance, except for one company that I use for all of my properties. But all the other ones was about $3,000 if the roof was 15 years old. This one that was $900, they were not going to accept the roof at that age. They said that this is in Florida, so because there's a lot of hurricanes, they didn't want to take the risk, and they didn't want to write my insurance if I kept it. So I ended up having to replace it. So this was a $10,000 cost. The house is newer now. Now it's technically worth more because the roof is new, and I don't have to worry about it for the next 20 years. So it is what it is. And now my insurance is $900 instead of $3,000. So that's kind of how I justified it. Plumbing, there was a couple of issues with plumbing that came up. There was a leak underneath one of the pipes going to the street. I paid about $400 for someone to come and find that leak and mark that spot, and then I paid a plumber to come in and dig it out and replace all the piping from the street to the house. So that was about $2,500, including the inspection or to find the leak. There is HVAC that I didn't put on here, so that's about $5,700. And let's change this from 19 to 18. So now this is technically where most of the money came from. And this, again, is mostly labor, right? So this is kind of what happened. The roof and the HVAC, we thought it was fine, and it should have been, but we found out the condenser was messed up. And for such an old HVAC, the better option was to just replace it instead of replacing the condenser. It was going to be like, I forget, like $1,500 to replace the condenser or something. That's what someone quoted me. So we decided we just go ahead and replace the entire HVAC. And again, better for insurance as well. So these are kind of HVAC and roof was kind of the two big ones that we didn't think we were going to spend much money on, but we ended up doing. So that increased our budget from $40K to about $50. Then there's obviously material. Because we're doing Airbnb, this is the amount for Airbnb. Well, this is some of it here, and then the rest of it is actually this amount. So I put Amazon because I got a lot of it on Amazon, Walmart, Wayfair, but this is basically all furniture. It's not even Amazon, it's just furniture. So furnishings is about 10K, give or take. 9,600 here plus 500, about 10K for 4-bedroom, 2-bath. So that's 1,200 square feet or 1,400 square feet. So that's how much this costs all in all, about $85,000. So that's kind of the rundown for the finances of what went into this deal. And now let's look at the numbers. All right, so these are the final calculations based off the price of the home. So I bought it for $161, put about 25% down, so $40,000 upfront as a down payment, and then we need about $120K in financing at a 7.625% rate. This is back in June of 2024. So like I said, furnishing was about $10,000, and repairs ended up being about, give or take 75, 85 with furniture, right? So that's, about 75K. It's a little higher than what we thought, but anyways, all in for $130,000. Yeah, so definitely put a lot of money into this property. Put $130,000 in. It's gonna do about $50K a year from what I calculated as a short-term rental. The mortgage and the PITI total for this place is actually pretty low, I would say. PITI is about $1,300, give or take. I think it was $1,269. I budgeted 2% for capex, 2% for repairs, so $1,000, $2,000 between the two for the year. So give or take about $1,400 a month in PITI plus capex plus repairs. And then we go into the utilities. So average utilities usage is about $300. Software, this could be like Price Labs or whatever you use for Airbnb. This could be higher, it could be $100 even. Airbnb fee about 3% of the rental amount, so $4,200, about $180 a month. Cleaning, This one should be higher. I would say about $100 per churn, give or take. So let's just say 500. So for 5 churns, that's probably roughly about correct. $50 in supplies. Pest control is $20 a month. Pool is $185 every month to clean. Give or take 4,200. This could be higher, could be 4,500, but let's just say 4,200 just to be safe. So total expenses a month would be about $2,700. This is like the worst case scenario. Very simply, what I have calculated is PITI is about 1,300, and then give or take everything else, it's about actually like $700. So utilities and everything overall. That's kind of how I think about it. So at $2,000 flat, but at a worst case scenario, it's $2,700 in monthly expenses, and that's what we want to budget for. Cash flow should be about $1,500 a month, and yeah, so the cash on cash return on this is about 13.6%, 13.6 to anywhere between that to 20. Not the best deal, but it is a deal. And I'm gonna be making an extra $1,500 a month. So yeah, definitely overspent on this property. Definitely was not expecting to be at the above 100K, maybe hitting close to 100K. Yeah, as a worst case scenario, but 130 definitely way overspent. So yeah, a lot of learnings. Roof and HVAC and et cetera, that just things slowed down. So this is kind of like the final deal for this property and where it is currently at. For this one, I did calculate, we did already get some bookings as a STR. The last week or two of September, we got it up, and we got a booking for about $2,900. October about $4,100, and then November about $3,700. Right, so give or take, we are on track. This was very not occupied. There were so many dates available. I have a couple things I still want to do. The design isn't perfect yet. There's a couple little things like outdoor furniture and wallpaper that I want to add on. So maybe $1,000 more just to kind of get everything finished. And then I think I can get it up and running, and hopefully it starts to make $4,200 a month. And I have a lead for someone that is hopefully going to be staying here for, I want to say $4,500 a month, give or take. So hopefully that one closes, but if that's the case, then that will blow my projections out of the water. This is a pool property, so I do expect it to do a little bit better than some of the other ones, and all the other ones do about $4,500 a month. No, $45,000 a year, so that is about $3,750, right? So I think with a pool, I think it could do easily $50K. So we'll see. We'll find out in a year. Almost forgot to show the final pictures. This is the final design. I'm gonna be adding a little more artwork and stuff, just to kind of brighten up the place, and maybe some wallpaper and stuff. But this is kind of what the finished home looks like. So everything is pretty much brand new. All the flooring, we painted all the walls. All of this is brand new. We took out all the cabinets. Oh, that's also where a big piece of the budget came to. So all of this is brand new. All of the cabinets, all the countertops, everything is pretty much brand new in the entire home. These are not the best pictures. I'm gonna put something here. Gonna put something here, kind of something artsy, like maybe wallpaper here. I have a couple friends that are helping me with this, and then yeah. So this is all what the house looks like so far, and hopefully it gets booked pretty well. These are some bad pictures. The photographers came out literally 2 days before this pool was fully finished. This pool was supposed to be finished 2 weeks before, but I wanted to get a booking as soon as possible because there was a date that was pretty lucrative, and I wanted to make sure we had it open. So I was like, let me just throw some pictures on there, even if it's not ready. Obviously, we'll come out. All this is gone. The pool is full. There's no trash outside. You need to get furniture outside, but overall, that is what it looks like. So also the garage is filled it in, and now we just gotta paint it. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's how the property looks like. Last thing I want to talk about is just the overall finances of the house. We currently have a loan on this property for $120,000, right? Down payment was about $40,000, renovations $25,000, furniture's $10,000. We're all in for $246,000, right? So that's kind of what this house, like how much money is technically I spent and owe on this property, right? I think it's worth at least 260. So, it could be even 280, but I think conservatively, I think 260 is a good number for it. So currently the equity is about 13K, almost 14K. The issue with this is if I were to sell, let's say I sell it for 260, I will have to pay commissions on it, right? So 260, and then let's just say you pay about 5% fee. So let's say I just multiply 5% for agent fees and then selling costs and stuff like that. So I will technically be all, like if I were to sell this property right now, I would technically be at a loss of about almost $2,000. So basically breaking even if I were to sell, right? Basically no gain. That's currently what the current situation is. If it's worth 280, then there is a little bit of money I could make from selling it. But from my analysis and for my future plans, like I think just keeping this property as an Airbnb and making an extra $1,500 a month will be better for this. So because I overspent, I am keeping it. But I am keeping it. Therefore, I actually overspent. So that's kind of how I think about it. But anyways, this wasn't as, I think I was a little optimistic doing this. This was technically my first, would have been flip, but this ended up just being like another renovation. So this would be my second one overall. The first one was within budget. This one was a lot over, but it was kind of like a foreclosure and there were a number of things that ended up being wrong or that went a little bit over. So, but hey, you live and you learn, and I learned a lot. So hopefully this was insightful. If you have any questions for me, let me know. Otherwise, this is more so for my records.